What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the90sfirst to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First Show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day. All right, I will count us down. Ready?
If you want, I'm going to mess it up once just for fun anyways. Let's do it.
Please don't. We run a tight ship here. Sean, don't give me that look.
Where is it?
3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
How?
I liked that. That was good.
It was
even.
It was a cascade of goes.
Go, go, go,
You
go.
guys are the Three Stooges. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
First.
No, who's on first? Zab and Costello.
Yes.
Not Three Stooges.
A wise guy, eh? Yeah, he's right.
I wasn't saying it was the Three Stooges.
Oh. He was just saying who's on first. Yes.
Yeah.
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 I don't
That
know.
doesn't make sense.
Third base.
Anyways,
Just start, because
What's
I
up,
kind of want to keep
everyone?
that. That was fun.
I guess this is Test Your Might, and we're the 90s First. What's up, everybody? Joe here, hosting the 90s First for our very first E3 show. Today, I have Mike with me as normal, but also we've got Cicero back in the house, who's been away for a little while. Cicero, how you doing?
I'm doing well. You were able to get apparently better people to replace me. They are better people to replace me. Chris Clow is definitely he is a better person than me. I really like that dude.
I may have said nerdier.
Yeah.
Definitely. He's got the nerd knowledge.
He does.
When it comes to DC.
He does.
That man was dropping bombs.
Yeah. This guy's got encyclopedic knowledge about the things that he knows, and he's so modest about it that he'll say, "Oh, I kind of know a little bit about it."
That's exactly what he was doing.
But Star Trek and DC Comics specifically, he knows those things very, very well. Very, very
he
well.
did.
Yes.
And speaking of DC Comics, we got our own superhero over here. Sean, how you doing?
Oh.
Hi, I'm doing great with that boost. Wow.
Yes. And this is it. Gentlemen, this is the E3 experience via, however you want to say it, the 90s First.
Yeah.
We're bringing you E3 up to this point. As we record, it is Sunday evening, and we have just experienced the Bethesda Microsoft as the latest installment of E3 up until tomorrow and Tuesday. I think Tuesday's the last day, right, gentlemen?
Tuesday is the last day.
But
Hey,
Square
I
Enix
did pay
also
attention in school.
happened today in the
Yes.
PC
Yeah.
game show as well.
Exactly.
Wow, I missed those. No, I've got the highlights up actually right here. I'm looking at them because I was like, I don't have time because I have a family and 2 kids. And I know Mike's got a family with 3 kids. Cicero's got a bunch of kids. They just happen to be adult kids. Sean doesn't have the kids.
He teaches the kids.
He teaches the kids. Exactly right. He's busy teaching the kids, which means he's got like 20-something kids.
All right.
So we're busy. So I'm looking it over as we're going to be talking about it.
He doesn't teach on Sundays, by the way, guys. He's not.
Also teaches Sunday school. Look at that.
Yeah, he could.
I'm not judging here. Anyways, welcome to Test Your Might. Listeners, thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys so much for checking us out, and we would love it if you could leave us a review over at Apple or on our YouTube. If you check us out on YouTube, look us up on YouTube. 90s First, if you do want to look us up on YouTube, and
Link
you can see all
below.
the beautiful faces.
Like and
Or
subscribe.
link below if you're listening on a podcast.
Also,
subscribe that.
Also, we will have another special Test Your Might later this week, coming out Friday to recap the rest of E3. So stay tuned for that. We're excited. I'm stoked because this is our first. We started Test Your Might after E3 last year. You know, that time period. There wasn't any E3 last year, but around that time. And I'm excited that this is really our first E3 covering it. So really excited.
I know it's gonna be fun. I know in our show notes, Inside Baseball, it says to skip what we've been playing, but we're going to talk about it just a smidge here. We each get one roundabout game here. What have we been playing? Because I have been playing MLB The Show.
Whoa.
On the Xbox. Whoa, right? That's something new. Y'all didn't expect it. You're welcome. I had to try out the different batting and pitching and the guessing because my friend told me, always guess. Always just try and guess. And I was like, I'll see what it does. It takes too much time. I stopped guessing and I gave up on playing the game. But I did try it. So, he got me to try it. Cicero, what have you been playing? You've been off a little while.
Yeah, I haven't been playing. I've been playing Vacation.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
love that
game. I almost platted that game. I got all
simulator.
I got Vacation Simulator. Yeah. But I have come home and jumped into football, and not Madden, but FIFA. The world.
I saw you playing the
beautiful game.
Real football.
Yeah,
I love
the beautiful game. I've been playing with Roger, my stepson. That's his game. That's the sports game that he knows. So I've been playing. I've been playing that. Already. I don't know that game that well. I've played it a little. But I wanted to play it just so I could beat him. Because
that's fair.
Yeah, because he needs to
keep your son in his place for a little
he
longer.
needs to understand that, like him and his boys, they played it in college, but I do this. So and that's, right now we've been pretty close, but I'm just starting to learn the game and he's been playing the game. So soon,
that curve is like this for you,
Roger. You're going
complete side note. But I'm thinking I don't peruse TikTok. I don't even have it installed. But I love those ones where it's like the dad goes up to his like high schooler, and his high schooler is playing like COD like 2033 or whatever.
Right.
and the dad's like, oh. Hello, I'm here. Don't worry. Let me squat up.
Remote for a second.
Yeah, Anyway, side note.
So yeah. So you guys are young parents.
Not young.
One of the yes, not
he's the youngest.
Jeez, kids
are still just swimming.
Moving on. For those of us that are here that are our parents, you guys are younger parents, so you obviously you want the best for your children. You want them to be a million times greater than you in their life
once they've earned it.
But exactly, once they've earned it.
That?
But even after they've earned it, there's going to be a moment in your life where you're like, I want my child to be better than me, except for when they're in my house. When they're in my house,
we're the teacher of humility.
I'm still the this is my pride. Yeah, this is my pride rock. You go out and get your own rock, and you can stare into the valley off your own rock, but this is my rock, Simba, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing around here.
Cicero's been playing Lion King Simulator as well.
Sean, what have you been playing?
I have been playing a bunch of like small like indie things. Itch.io had like a bundle of like 1,000 games or whatever. It was like $5 for charity or whatever amount you want to pay. $5 minimum for charity, you get a bunch of games. And I knew I like was going to do it anyway, but also I knew quite a few like good games were in there, so I got them and have just been perusing stuff in there.
Nice.
I played a little frog ballerina in Unpa Fragile. I got some puzzling in with Cross and Q and Quench, I think it was called. But other than that, like, just dipping into a little experimenting there. What I've been spending most of my gaming time on has been XCOM 2 War of the Chosen.
Nice.
It's been good.
Are any of the characters named after us?
Unfortunately, no. What I've done is
that's fortunately, because I hate dying in XCOM. All right?
I've done pretty far and have only lost one person.
Oh man, how much did that hurt?
It hurt a little bit, but I expected more, honestly. I'm used to playing on much harder difficulties on stuff, but I'm playing on, like, normal here. And so, like, the pain, it's not that, like, I'm too good, it's just, like, I'm used to the pain. So, like, one that happened really early on and not since is, like, whatever.
Right, exactly. You've been
not that I didn't love her.
Jaded by war.
Exactly. This is my first.
Yeah, that's why I liked Mario plus Rabbids, because there's no way Mario's dying, you know?
I mean, at this point, like, again, that was really early. At this point, if, like, Flint and Steel or Mixplosion or the Ice Queen die, I'd probably be pretty sad. But you know,
no.
Mike,
my first time playing XCOM, I named my characters. So I named them after, you know, like, my first female character was my partner. I named it after my partner, and then I named you know, two of the other guys after, like, my friends or something. And on the very first mission, my partner got overconfident and she got murdered. She got killed on the first mission. That was it. She was done. And I didn't lose, just like Sean, I didn't lose anybody for the longest time. We were doing it for her.
That sounds unfortunate. I think I kind of like the premise of that game, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Permadeath.
I don't think you would like it gameplay-wise.
Probably not. I'm very picky, as we've all learned here. I'm a simpleton.
It's turn-based.
It's turn-based, but it's
turn-based.
But it's on a grid. Like, it's you.
Like old school Final Fantasy?
No.
like tactics.
Like tactics.
Like tactics. Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Maybe you know that. No.
Or
Okay.
just download it. It's on Game Pass.
There we go.
There you
Mike,
go.
what have you been playing lately? Fire Emblem?
No. I have not been playing Fire Emblem. So the one thing that I've been playing through with my son, and it's extremely fun, is the 2016 reboot of Ratchet and Clank. So we've been playing that.
That's right.
And
nice.
Been having a lot of fun with it. So it's a good little platformer. I never really played through the original, so it's cool to just kind of play through the original story on a PS4 instead of going all the way back to the PS2. My son is just having a blast. He has his Xbox 360 controller that he holds while I'm playing, and he
just like one of these.
I'm kind of Dad. He's just playing, having fun.
I'm playing with you.
It's co-op.
Yeah,
Wham
exactly.
bam.
The only other game that I've played this week is Apex, but besides that, what was it, Sean?
Sure.
Friday night? Friday night, Sean and I were hanging out, chatting on Xbox Live, and he was about to start playing Knockout City. And so I decided to download it, and me and him played probably like 5, maybe 6 matches, and got our butt whoops. We were just terrible, dude. It was I don't know if I have time to like master another multiplayer game. Kind of, I mean, I'm not like the world's best at Apex, but I think I'm formidable in that. So I don't know if I have time to master Knockout City. But basically, if you got Game Pass, I think it's definitely worth it to download and at least try it, because hey, it's dodgeball and it's got an okay premise. It's got a good premise to it, and despite Sean and I losing every single match, I think we had fun. Would you agree, Sean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is worth giving it a try.
Perfect segue. if you don't have Game Pass, you better hurry up and get it, because E3 just happened, and we're about to talk about it. E3 happened, and the Bethesda and Microsoft event, which we'll just call the Microsoft event, was was a terrible name, I know, but they announced 30 games or 31 games.
30 games,
And
27 of which go into Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So before we talk about that, because that's the most recent thing, starting the beginning, from the top of E3, what have been your favorite moments so far? Best games, biggest surprises, everything. We're going to start with Cicero because he's been away for a little bit. Cicero, what have you liked about E3 so far?
Well, two things. So the first is how normal it felt. That's the first thing, is this version of E3 is not the E3 that we know. It's not being in the halls, the large crowds and all of the stuff. But it is, we're still at the showcase portion of it, right? So we're watching the showcases, and that felt normal outside of not hearing the crowds yell and scream. But this feels more manageable, and it feels like I can get more of these events throughout the course of the year. And I'd prefer that to, as someone who went to E3, been to E3 multiple times. But like, I almost prefer them to have the ability, if it's an either or proposition, I'd prefer them to be able to do more of these types of events throughout the year. If we could get 2 or 3 of these a year, as opposed to one giant bombastic E3 event. This seemed cool. The other thing I'm going to talk about that I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about, which is the game that it didn't open the E3, the Microsoft showcase, but it was the second game in the Microsoft showcase, and that's Stalker 2. So what I loved about Stalker 2 was that it reminded me of if you guys remember, put your way back thinking caps on to the debut of the PS3 and the Killzone. That was I think that's what it was, the Killzone vaporware, essentially, when they were showing the PS3 and they had like this concept footage that was just kind of like mind-blowing. Things were exploding and the guys jumped off the boat, and it was like some flying barge rig thing or whatever. But it in me, and I think the kind of in the zeitgeist, the conversation was about how this felt like something we knew, like we understood, but it felt like the next evolution in what games could be. And that's what Killzone represented in that sizzle reel that they presented. But I think Stalker 2 did the same kind of thing, or at least I felt that same way, where I was like, whoa, this looks like a shooter. I know shooters, but this feels like the next step in how these games can look and feel and act and animate. So I was really excited by what they showed us with Stalker 2.
Sean, I'm going to jump to you next as our guest. What so far have you seen that has piqued your interest? Maybe what you're most excited about from E3 that you've seen?
Okay. Yeah. So my E3 started last Saturday at 5 or 6 a.m. I woke up. I woke up too early because I was still on school time. And regrettably, the first thing I did was check Twitter. Always a bad thing to do. But in this case, it was probably the best case scenario. I saw that there was an event going on in Japan, hence how early it was. It was the Indie Live Expo, where they were showing over 300 games in like 6 waves of like 15 seconds each. And that's how I started E3 over a week ago. There was a lot of cool stuff in there. Obviously, it didn't get a lot from it because a lot of it was like 15 seconds, but I got a lot of games to follow up on, including, Unbeatable, which I did know about before, but it was another like, hey, that was a demo you played and really liked. That was really cool. And Coromon, which is definitely not Pokemon, but has a great free trial on Steam right now. And then, as always, seeing that Umaragi Generation is on Switch now. I love that game, and I would like anyone to play it via my recommendation.
That's high praise.
And then other than that, I was surprised that you guys were talking about E3 as if it was still happening, because I'm pretty sure it ended on like Wednesday or Thursday, because Elden Ring got announced, and
Right.
with a date, and I kind of have been gone since then. I don't know what happens.
It ain't over yet, my friend. All right, Mike. Favorite thing so far? What are you thinking?
I don't want to make this like, because as Sean said, E3 started for him 2 Saturdays ago, whatever. So I don't want to make this like a huge like Microsoft Bethesda thing, but like, I think that screen that showed up like consistently with 27 games throughout that whole press conference, playing on Game Pass day one. And I think Microsoft is just continuing to cement themselves as like, we just want to give the consumer the power to choose how to consume their games. Like, all those games they showed, you could purchase if you want.
Yep.
If you don't want to subscribe to Game Pass, you don't have to. But we believe in this subscription service. We believe in this format of how we're going to send games to you. And so we're going to send Back 4 Blood some money, and we're gonna get them to come into Game Pass day one. And you guys could choose if you want to subscribe or if you want to just buy the game. I think that's really, aside from Halo, aside from Starfield, I think that's really one of the biggest stories that is going to permeate throughout this E3 season, is that Microsoft is just continuing to put the power in the consumer hands as to how to consume their video games. So
You can even be like me, and you can hate subscribe to it. I hate that I'm subscribed to it, but you know what? I'm still subscribed to it. I hate it, but it's amazing. It's too good not to be subscribed to, which is stupid. But darn it, they got my money, and I've gone over it a million times. I am such a picky gamer. There are not that many types of games that I play. I don't often branch out. So for me, they are offering 27 games that I can say I don't want to play. But if there's one in there, it's going to be worth it for at least 4 months. For $15 a month, if I buy that game, I'm going to spend $60 on that game. So for 4 months, I can play or try out any of those other 26 for the cost of playing one game for a month.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or for 4 months. It just doesn't make sense. It's nuts. All right.
Can I put a little bit of a wrinkle in your argument about this is ideal for consumers for a second, about choices and stuff? You can do all that as long as you have an Xbox or a PC.
Yes.
Because Starfield's exclusive.
Right.
If you don't have an Xbox or a PC, you can buy a Series X or Series S for $300.
But Sean,
it's a great deal. It is a great deal, and I'm to it, and it's great and everything. But also, yeah.
But Sean, what do you have right now? What is your phone right now? It is a smartphone. All those games are going to be coming to cloud as well.
Right. Right.
And like millions of people have cell phones that can play Game Pass on the cloud.
And
so like,
and your browser.
yeah, and your internet browser, and you could stream it. So I mean that's your wrinkle is true. To play those games at the best fidelity, at the best possible way that you want, yes, buy an Xbox. Yes, have a good PC that can handle that. But at the end of the day, somebody can subscribe for $15 and just play it via cloud on their phone as well. Or their browser, as Cicero said, they could stream it. So, I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from, because yeah, I'm not going to be able to play, even games that are on there now, like MLB The Show. I'm not going to be playing it on my phone at the best possible way that I can. I'm going to play it on my Xbox. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing on that on your phone regardless. No. Don't do it. That sounds like a terrible experience. All right. Cicero, swinging back around to you.
Yeah, man.
What has been the biggest surprise so far?
Yeah, I guess I'll go back to what I said before, which is the biggest surprise, I think, is how normal this felt. Viewing the footage, consuming the footage and the information the way that we have, and realizing how beneficial this can be. That I think that was a surprise for me. From a gaming perspective, I think the biggest surprise for me was just how bright the light at the end of the tunnel is for Microsoft now, right? Like this trust the process kind of mode that we had been in perpetually with Microsoft essentially over the entirety of the last generation, where there were some bright spots, but there was still this kind of like there was, it wasn't even a stigma. There was a true objective conversation that could be had, where it was like, yeah, there are plenty of games to play on the Xbox, but all the games I want to play are on the PlayStation. And those games can only be played on the PlayStation. And Sony had the exclusives, and they still have the exclusives. And today they still have the exclusives. But a year from now, there's going to be a very real conversation about where the exclusives are. And when I watched the Microsoft press conference, the Mike Thresda, shout out to
Mike Thresda.
Yeah,
I like it.
Shout out to Sean for that one. But that showcase, what it said to me, even with the exclusives that we did get to see, and we, maybe we can drill down into that a little bit, but the best games you're going to play this gen, at least for right now, are still going to be on PlayStation. When you look at a game like Ratchet and Clank is the first game that I think makes me want to have a next gen console, period.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
And the shame of it all is I don't have a PS5 to play it, but it's the first real next gen game for me.
Don't have one yet.
Yeah, I don't have one yet. I will get one, but I just don't have one yet. But like, while I think the best games, at least for right now, will still be on Sony, I think you'll have more fun playing the suite of games that Microsoft showed off in this showcase, in addition to the fact that 95% of those games will be included in the subscription price. So not only will you be able to play the games because they're fun, you'll have more fun with them because the costs associated, the risk associated with playing that game was so minimal that you were incentivized to just like enjoy it for what it is and not be biased one way or the other because of the purchase, right? Like, no confirmation bias because you buy the game and it has to be good because you spent this money, nor this extra expectation, oh, this game cost me $60 or $70, so it's got to be $70 worth of good. Again, Game Pass is, and it just keeps getting better. It keeps getting better, along with the accessibility, as you pointed out, Mike. It really is a no-brainer.
All right, sticking with surprises, Sean, round robin it to you. What has been the biggest surprise? And we'll go back to when you started last Saturday when it was way too early AM. Was there a surprise there? Has there been one since? What has it been? What is the biggest surprise that you have seen, encountered, heard of, tweeted, whatever, clicked on, that you didn't expect to see?
It's something that I didn't expect to see. I didn't expect to care about it either. There's this game, a small game called Unpacking, where you're just going through and stages of a person's life and just unpacking when they are a kid into their bedroom, in their first apartment, yada yada. I assume other things. Those are the two things I've seen, and something that definitely I would have just passed by, but I saw someone playing it. For those first couple of levels, and just with a group of people and seeing how they went through and inhabited the character and were making choices about this kind of stuff, was really exciting as a space for games to be in, as a really small, quiet thing.
Is this a sim of unpacking?
It's literally you get this you get two walls of a room or whatever, and maybe multiple rooms. And it's just you got boxes in there. You open the box, you take a thing out of it, you put it on the shelf or on the floor or underneath the bed or underneath the pillow on your bed. You can move it around. Yeah, there are spots that are wrong, but there's not one right spot for everything. And just because you're taking out one at a time, you can either just throw everything on the floor or whatever, or try to piece as you go, however you would normally unpack or whatever. It sounds even me pitching it right now, I'm just I don't know, that's just a game. But seeing someone play through it, it's that was pretty cool.
All right. That is surprising. It's surprising me that the people are making unpacking games. But if that's your thing, there's a game where you can unpack, and maybe people with really type A or OCD personalities who love that sort of process are going to have a great time with this. I'm one of those throw it on the floor and find a place for it later kind of guys.
So you play that with a friend that's maybe type A, and you guys have a good interaction there, or a terrible one, whatever.
It would definitely be an interaction. It wouldn't let me down, that's for sure. Mike, what has been the biggest surprise for you so far in this E3 sphere?
The
event.
I got a small surprise, and then my biggest surprise. So the small surprise was Splitgate, which is an arena shooter in the vein of Halo, but with portal guns, from Valve's Portal. So it's coming to consoles, free to play, and there's going to be cross-play as well. That's coming in July. Back when it came out in 2019, I was extremely jealous of the PC community who had access to this. So that was a big surprise for me. But if we're talking just surprises in general, I am so surprised that Sea of Thieves got Pirates of the Caribbean,
the Disney port.
I'm just very surprised about that. It might actually, it's kind of cool that it's bringing in just a story, instead of just the, sail the seas and get treasure and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's bringing a campaign in, so I might actually download it, and see what it's all about. I'm not a huge Pirates of the Caribbean fan. That's not what's going to draw me to it. But if we're talking about surprises, I thought that was extremely surprising. Had no clue that Rare and Xbox had it up their sleeve to bring something Disney to the fold. So
yeah, that's I was watching today. And I was like, yo, this is Sea of Thieves. Like, this isn't really anything new. And then they got to the point where like they introduced Jack Sparrow, and I was like, hold on, like that's a Disney license. Like that's big money. Are they really about to do that? Like, did they just step on their toes a little bit? And they're like, no, with Disney, here it is. We're giving you this whole thing. And I was like, oh shoot, okay. Like, I'm not a Sea of Thieves player, but I like Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's free on Game Pass, so what's stopping me from enjoying some and it looked like they had the Flying Dutchman, and Davy Jones was in there, and like all sorts of other cool stuff. So I'm like, might be worth at least checking out, because I don't have to pay anything more for it. Like,
have you guys
that
not
was cool. I thought that was cool.
You guys have not played Sea of Thieves at all?
No, I have.
Oh, okay.
I have played for like 2 hours.
Sure.
Me and Justin, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Justin, by the way, will be on our episode Thursday, I believe, with us,
nice.
with Sean, Cicero, and I. But me and him just like played that for 2 weeks nonstop. So yeah, it was great.
Nice.
All right. Yo, my biggest surprise so far was Somerville, and not the fact that it exists, but I was watching it and I was like, yo, this game looks fun. Like, this looks pretty exciting. I like the style. I like what they're doing. It is not a me game. It turned, bro. So I was like really into it, and I was like, yo, this game looks so good. And then I was like, here's the zombies. And I was like, oh, dang it, because this game looks so fun and I want to try it. But also, I don't want to play it. Like,
I think it's like
so
an
the surprise
alien
for me,
invasion.
it was,
zombies.
yeah, it was aliens, but it's creepy things running at you, right. So it's all the same. Anyways, I was shocked because I was like, yo, this game looks so fun. It looks cool. It looks really interesting. I love how they were doing it, how they were like introducing all the stuff. And I'm like, yo, I'm behind this game, like 100%. And then they were like, here's the scary part. And I was like, I'm still kind of behind the game, but now just like 87% because it's going to scare me. And I don't like in real life, it's super hard to like jump scare me and like jump out and like actually frighten me. But for some reason in a game, especially when I have headphones on and like I'm so zoned in, it's so easy to like get something like right behind me and freak me out. So that was a surprise. Somerville, I didn't think that there would be a game like that I would be interested in ever, and they sold me on it, so I'll probably try it. Granted, it's again Game Pass, so it's helped me out that I don't have to spend $60 to maybe have a terrible experience.
Yeah.
So
I think you'll have a wonderful experience.
I'm hoping it'll start off great and also finish great, but we'll see if it finishes as good as it starts out.
Yeah, you can leave at any time.
I can just push the power button. So
yeah,
works for me. What has been the biggest letdown moment? We'll just keep the rotation going. So Cicero, back to you. What maybe were you looking for or hoping to come out of E3 that they, as of yet, either announced and it wasn't what you expected, or were expecting something more and they just didn't give it to you? What has been the biggest letdown moment for you?
Well, again, I'll cheat. I'll use two. The first is something tangible, and that was that we didn't get really anything from Starfield. We got a sizzle reel from using assets that were in engine, but we still don't really know what that is. It's great that we know it's an exclusive, but there's nothing for someone who is an Xbox fan to sit back and say, hey, look, Sony fan, this is the reason that you need to own an Xbox, even a Series S. For Starfield, you can only play that here. That was one thing. The other thing was I'm just kind of disappointed that Sony's not going to be around this week.
Yeah.
Right. This is the week that we're all still kind of talking about games. Right. We're talking E3. and Microsoft came out and had a kick-ass showcase. They really did. And it would be great to see what Sony's got in store right now so that we can compare apples to apples. And then we will be able to compare apples to apples when Sony does their presentation, I think a month from now. But it would be better if we could have that, we could have that kind of toe-to-toe, tete-to-tete that we had with these two juggernauts. And I know it's part of the console war, but it's like if they're competitors, you want to be able to see what the competitors have for each other. Mm-hmm. Overall disappointed that we're not going to see anything from Sony.
All right, and Sean, biggest letdown moment thing from E3 when it started for you and what you've seen so far.
Yeah, so I don't really have any big letdowns because, out of, the people here, I'm probably, maybe not notoriously, but the least news-oriented games person here, and, the most skeptical of this kind of stuff, so, I wasn't I didn't come in expecting much of anything. I didn't even expect Elden Ring, even though a lot of people were. But I guess with that in mind, it's, the whole Devolver shtick. The games were good, but the presentation was just a lot. And from what I heard here, that's what they do every year, but also it was a lot and not to my taste at all, but oh well.
So it was a letdown in the sense that hey, this is good, but the way you did it was
the whole lead up and everything, I spent a lot of time consuming something I didn't really want to do, but I had some nice treats in there,
Okay. A little bit of a letdown. They could have just given you the goods and not walked you through and held your hand through all the nonsense. Mm-hmm. I got it. And Mike, biggest letdown from E3.
Yeah. Just to blanket it, the Ubisoft conference as a whole.
Really?
Just just didn't. Besides a couple games here and there, otherwise it just I don't know what Ubisoft is doing with some IP like Splinter Cell. Would have been cool to see some Prince of Persia that got delayed, stuff like that. There's some exciting things, but overall, I just was kind of looking forward to some things, but a little bit of a letdown. But I think the bigger one for me actually was, despite the really good showing from Halo Infinite's multiplayer, I really think that they should have dove a little bit deeper into the campaign than just the CG trailer, because the biggest thing about last year's showcase that they had was the campaign not living up to graphical fidelity, whatever. I was okay with it, but I really wanted them to flip the script, and just change things. Or also, it would have been cool for them to kind of make fun of themselves for and just hey, we. Craig the Brute, he came out last year. It was bad, but let's see some of the changes that we've made. I'm super stoked for Halo Infinite and really looking forward to it. I just wish they showed a little bit more of the campaign. So
I feel that was my biggest letdown moments have been said, but yeah, Halo Infinite, I was expecting more. I think my expectations were just too high, and that's my fault. That's just how it goes sometimes. We go in and it's been, 7 months since we're supposed to have it, 6 months, something like that, since we're supposed to have the game. And I think I was just expecting to see a little bit more. I know they went back and they kind of ground up, rebuilt it, but I think I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting more out of the multiplayer. I was expecting more of the campaign. I was expecting to see some more of the actual game itself and not just some cinematography and some cool CG and stuff like that. And then I would love to see Sony back in, because you can't have a hit for hit when one of them's hitting in a month. it would be awesome to see them go back and forth, even if, you had to split your time. And if they did it at the same time to say, who's going to have the bigger pull? Like, we're going to do this at the same time. Sony and Microsoft tune in. Who's gonna pull? I'm just saying it would be entertaining if they did it that way. Like, where are you gonna be? Are you gonna split your attention?
Yeah,
are you
this
gonna
is
have
not
two browsers open.
This is not the Monday night fights, Raw versus WCW.
I just want to see. I want to see them in the ring again. And so yeah, it's a letdown that they're not here. And I mean, I'm not the most avid gamer in the room ever, but I have owned a Sony PlayStation. I have owned an Xbox since the beginning. I had an original Xbox. I had an original PlayStation. I had the 360 PlayStation 2. I had the 1 and the 360. Like, the only thing that I haven't owned right now is a PS4 and a PS5. Other than that, I've owned every generation of each of these consoles, and I think that they should both be in the ring together. So E3 was the ring. For decades they were there, battling out for this space, this eyes on experience. And it's sad that they're not there. I think it's a big letdown. And that's coming from not the biggest news junkie for video game stuff, but I would love to see it. I'd love to at least know what's going on. We'll see in a month or so. Okay. From worst to best, what do you think the biggest moment has been in E3? Whether that's been a game announcement, a developer thing, a studio thing. What do you think has been the biggest moment for E3 so far? Cicero, on to you first.
Yeah, I think the biggest news coming out of E3 has been Microsoft's commitment to accessibility for the gamer, right? So they've they've talked about how xCloud is no longer a project. They've talked about browser support for streaming your games, and they've even talked about the ability to stream console games via your TV, via a dongle, or some type of built-in component in the actual television itself. So I'm not sure if that's a software, if it's an app, or if they're talking about a hardware change in someone's TV or whatever. But just this way of saying, hey, look, don't worry about the box, right? The box has always been a content delivery device, and it's less meaningful now than it ever was. Even though it's got all the flops, we can send, as long as your internet is good enough, we can send you the flops over the internet. Just have a way to play the game, and we will let you play it. And that's great. That's great. So that's going to open it up for gamers everywhere. That's going to allow people that are playing the game Vacation Simulator to actually continue to play games, right? That's awesome. That's awesome. So that was probably my biggest surprise. The best moment, I think overall, again, it goes back to just Microsoft showing us like, oh, hey, guys, not only are there going to be some indie games, some diamonds in the rough, some gems, hidden gems that you're going to find in Game Pass, but the big games are coming, and you're going to have a lot of games to play that are a lot of fun, that people are going to want to play, and you'll be able to play them however you want, wherever you want, as long as you're in this ecosystem.
It's a pretty good big moment. Sean, what about you? Biggest moment in E3? What stood out to you the most?
We got a slash best in there. I'm gonna go best moment is, Hideo Kojima trolling everybody about, Death Stranding Metal Gear Solid.
That was
With
so
the box.
good.
All right.
That was
All
very
right.
good. It was dirty and I loved it.
It was dirty and I loved it.
That's going to be a highlight, by the way. Just so you
Sure.
guys waiting, that will be on Instagram and on Twitter. Just look out for it.
Speaking of that, there's been like huge rumors milling up about Kojima and Xbox doing something. It's funny that he shows up for a Death Stranding thing. I don't know.
Mike, biggest slash best.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the one that Sean was going to say. So like, I'm not a Soulsborne fan, I'm not a Souls guy, but honestly, Summer of Gaming with Jeff Keighley. First of all, that was a fantastic show. I was able to watch most of it, and honestly, I think the best moment so far has been the Elden Ring reveal. Like, there's so many people. Cicero uses the word zeitgeist. There's so many people in the zeitgeist that love the possibility of what Elden Ring is, but they didn't know what the heck it was until now. So I think it was a good get for Jeff Keighley in the summer gaming event there, and honestly, I think
definitely felt that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was excited.
He was very, very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly that might have been one of the best moments so far.
Not Weezer.
No.
Japanese Breakfast was right there. It couldn't have been Weezer.
Going back to Jeff Keighley, I want to say this much. Like, I really respect and I ride for the fact that Keighley rides for Canadians the same way Knicks fans ride for former Knicks. Like, if you've had a cup of coffee for the Knicks, a Knicks fan would be like, oh, he's one of our guys. Right? As long as you did okay. Jeff Keighley will like, if your girlfriend lived in Canada, he will call out that you had a Canadian girlfriend. So yeah, I love that. I love that about Keighley and how much he loves his Canadians.
You know what I liked? I liked Shredders. Not even gonna lie. Shredders was probably the game that stood out to me as the one that I wanted to play the most out of this, just because it had that throwback vibe to Amped or SSX Tricky and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
It gave me all the nostalgia. It even looked like the graphics weren't amazing at all, but I'm watching and the experience looks so fun. And then I was like, I wonder if this is like gameplay. And it's like, oh yeah, this is gameplay footage. Like, all this is just the gameplay, and it looks so smooth and fun. And like, inside baseball, I'm a big snowboarder. Been snowboarding for decades now. I love it. I think it's so fun. And watching it wasn't long, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops of Shredders. I was like, okay, what is this? Like, I thought it was like, I don't know, an in-between thing. I thought it was a joke at first because like the graphics were like the polyagonal, like not looking great. And I was like, is this like a thing? And they're like, no, this is just a freaking snowboard game made by snowboarders for snowboarders to enjoy gaming.
To snowboard. And like the powder and like how smooth and like fluid the motions went, and like I was so into it, and I didn't think I would be. So maybe that's a surprise for me. Like, I didn't think I would be into something like that since since the original Xbox, and I was playing Amped. But it looked so fun, and I'm like, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that this year, which is really exciting. In December it releases, so like I will be playing Shredders this year on my Xbox, which is stoked. I'm stoked for it. Like one of the best moments for me. Throwback vibes to, oh gosh, what, a 13-year-old me? How long has it been? 20 years. So 11-year-old me. Holy cow. Whoa.
That was a revelation, like, live. Dude, it's been 20 years, so yeah, 11-year-old me playing snowboarding games. The kid in me was stoked to see Shredders, which I hate the name of it, but hey, they had to call it something. All right. Biggest moment. Are you guys ready? What are your most anticipated games from E3 that have been announced? And we can go the ones that are coming that they already been kind of spoiled. But what are you looking forward to the most? Feel free to say a few games. Cicero, coming back to you. What games are you looking forward to the most? Any dev, any studio, any console. What has piqued your interest?
Back for Blood. I can't wait to perhaps play with the four of us here on the Xbox. That should be a heck of a lot of fun. Rocksmith Plus.
Really?
Rocksmith 2,
Really?
Rocksmith Plus. So Roger, my stepson, has been playing guitar. He took up guitar less than a year ago, and he's really obsessed with it. He's really shown a passion for it. But part of the difficulty with learning is not being able to get instant feedback, especially when people are socially distant. Not being able to get instant feedback and not being able to kind of gamify your learning, right? Like we all know that if you gamify something, you're able to retain it a little bit better. You're able to, especially if you're a gamer, it activates the right parts of the brain to help you to get good.
And your drive kicks in. You're like, I'm gonna freaking conquer.
Yeah, and so the fact that they're able to kind of gamify playing guitar and learning guitar is something that I'm really excited to see at least him try and see how much it accelerates his learning and his ability to play, and it may inspire me to play. So so that's super cool. Other games, the big ones, your Halos, your Forzas, the games that are coming out. I'm finally happy to know that this game is finally releasing so I can finally play it. And that is 12 minutes. Yeah, the last time I was at E3, that game was debuted in a trailer, and immediately I was like, that's my kind of game. And then they showed it again last year in whatever it was that they were doing as a Game Pass game on its way, and I was like, that's my kind of game. And my fear is that by the time it comes out, will I still be the type of guy where it's my kind of game?
It's not my kind of game.
Right, exactly. So it's August finally. I really hope that the wait has been worth it. But I really love the premise of this game.
Very intriguing.
Yeah, so that's probably the game that I want to play the most. I'm looking forward to the most.
All right. Sean, how about you? What are your most anticipated games that have been announced so far?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Elden Ring. Got to have those proper nouns and that double jumping horse. And seeing
Did you say horse?
Yeah, the horse double jumps in the trailer.
Oh,
yeah.
Way the announcement just came out a little slow. Horse.
Oh.
Sean, since
animal.
Since this is one of your most anticipated games, are you excited that George R.R. Martin is like a little bit behind this? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't really mind that he's there. I don't really have opinions either way. I think that the best parts of his storytelling can mesh well with like the ambient stuff and like background world stuff that forgetting developers' name that they usually do. Like with with the series basically, or with the games, the Souls likes
From Software. Yep.
From Software. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's all there. He's not he's not a huge get for me.
Gotcha.
But I can see how he would be additive for sure.
Yeah, I heard that it's he created the backstory basically. Like he created the world, but he's not creating the story in the game.
Right.
So
yeah, I saw someone pitch it as like he probably wrote a whole big world building thing, and then Miyazaki took it and just cut it down to 30% that will actually get in the game, and that sounds like a great premise to me.
All right.
Other than that, Redfall, I hadn't heard about that until today.
Oh yeah,
the Vampire Arcane thing, and that looked pretty sick.
Yeah.
That looked great. And then a small little indie game, Inked, just looked really beautiful. No idea what it's like because I only saw 15 seconds of it, but beautiful. Want to see what's up.
They showed that, was that earlier? No. That was last year. They showed that at their showcase last year. Yeah, they had a real big 2 or 3 minutes about it.
All right. Let me look that up.
Dude, I think Redfall looks so good, man.
It does.
Like just I like that it's open world, that it's, because like I feel like this year has been like let's get the Left 4 Dead formula going again. But like it sounds cool that it's going to be open world, and everybody's going to have powers. It's not just going to be weapons and stuff like that. I'm really digging that. And plus, like Dishonored, that's the Dishonored team, and Dishonored is amazing. So
yeah.
Man, there's a thing, and maybe we'll talk about it on Friday when we talk about E3 in general, but there's a problem with E3 that, and maybe I'm old and I'm jaded, but like we
get at a cloud.
Yeah, like we get excited for premises. Right. But you should, like, oh, that premise sounds cool. Let's hope they can execute it. Right. What we saw of Redfall was a premise, right? Like it was an animated version of a pitch, right? Like, hey, this is the game. They're vampires. They're vampire slayers, and this is the world. And there's some goofy stuff. People got magic, and go. And that sounds awesome. But lots of things sound awesome when you're that far up, when you're that high up. And it's when you dive down into the minutia and how you can actually make that stuff practical, where those things fall apart. And I also really loved the idea of what I think Redfall is, but I think if you ask all 4 of us what we thought the idea of what Redfall is, you'd get 4 very different answers.
Broad strokes.
Right. So like, while I think it's important for us to continue to get excited about things that we only hear about but don't know about, I think it's also important to remember, like, I don't really know what that is about outside of the big the big broad strokes.
Yeah, so. I completely agree. The thing, like, I bring it up here because very excited about that, but also like in a couple months I'm gonna, like, all this is gonna be not here in my brain anymore anyway. So like 100%. It's all
100%.
The E3.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, so like, man, I'm a huge Rainbow Six fan. Been a Rainbow Six fan for the longest. And Ubisoft came out with a trailer for Rainbow Six Patriots. And then there was like a dev diary where they sat and they talked to the writers about Rainbow Six Patriots. And they showed this 5-minute clip of what Rainbow Six Patriots could be. and
never came out.
It never came out. Like it, like it's still amazing, but it will never see the light of day. It like nothing about, or so very little about what Rainbow Six Patriots was made it into Rainbow Six Siege that it doesn't even matter. I think the house that they used in the trailer is the house that they used in Siege as one of the maps, or at least they based it on that. And that and that's about all the connective tissue there is. But there was like a thing that they showed people that just didn't
materialize.
Yeah, right. At all. And I'm still really hurt by that. It affects me.
But still be excited about games, guys.
Oh yes, yeah, 100%, 100%.
Write off Redfall because it was a CG trailer.
Right. Well,
I'm sure you'll be able to do magic in there, and
at some point, sure.
Yeah.
Mike, what were your most anticipated games? Which ones stuck out?
Yeah.
Which one said, "Hey, I'm your game"?
Oh, sure. Halo Infinite is my game. Halo has always been my game. Halo 5 campaign I did not play, and for what I hear, it's a skip. But the multiplayer just amazing, and the multiplayer for Infinite looks great too, and plus it's free to play, which is just amazing. People can get into Halo at no cost, which is cool. So definitely looking forward to that.
How many LAN parties are you going to have when Halo Infinite comes out?
0.
All the LAN parties, bro?
No, 0. Back for Blood again, just like Cicero said, I'm really excited for that because there is I don't know if you've watched anything else before this, but there's a deck building there's a card system deck building thing in that game as well, and that's right up my alley. So pretty stoked for that. Sean and I have talked so much about this, and I just haven't bit the bullet, and I'm glad I didn't, because Hades is coming to Game Pass. I'm stoked. I've been wanting it. I've been wanting to play it so badly, and it's coming to Game Pass, and I can't even.
Is it coming to Game Pass, or is it coming to Xbox?
No, it's coming to Game Pass.
Okay.
Was that one of the three that weren't?
It's not. It's coming straight into Game Pass. Trust me.
Okay.
I would not be this excited because then I would have to.
What are the 3 games that weren't?
Far Cry 6, Diablo Resurrection, and Battlefield. Those were the only 3 in that showcase that are not coming to Game Pass.
Perfect.
All right. And I've already talked about Splitgate, and
that's still awesome.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of games that I'm definitely gonna be trying from Psychonauts 2. I'm looking forward to.
Right.
Sean actually introduced me to Psychonauts. I used to watch him play it. So
nice. Way to go, Sean.
Anyway, and
that's
then
all I'm good for.
Honestly, I'm excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy game. Like,
it did look pretty good. It did look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm glad that it is not a live service game like Avengers, and the people behind the Deus Ex games are behind it. So, yeah. A lot of things to look forward to. Oh my goodness, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Oh my goodness. All right, I have too much. I'm too excited.
I mean, you can talk about a few more if you want.
Shredders. I'm actually stoked for Shredders, dude. Like, it looks so fun.
So I don't remember the name of the game, but when I was watching today, there was one in the trailer. There was like robots everywhere, and then you were a person, and you had something in the palm of your hand, and you could like control robots. Is that a thing?
Atomic Heart, something like that.
Yo, that one looked weird and also really interesting. So I'm kind of looking forward to trying that one, or at least like installing it and checking it out. So here's the big asterisk here in the episode is, if you have Game Pass, you get to play a crap ton of games for free, essentially. I'm talking just Bethesda, Microsoft, today's thing. Overall, though, there is a chance that even some of the other ones will end up in Game Pass for free, if not a lot of the other ones.
Right.
As long as it's not an exclusive for Sony or Nintendo, there is a chance that it could end up on Game Pass, which is just crazy to think now, because we're all adults here. We spent our whole life buying video games. You had to buy the cartridge, you had to buy the disc, you had to buy the smaller disc, then back to the normal size disc. But it's always been something like you always have to buy the game to play it. Yes, that was a GameCube reference. But yeah, you always had to buy the game, and it's really foreign and different, even though this is kind of how everything works now with subscription services. But in the gaming industry, it's so foreign and different. There's only been a few things like this, GameFly and services like that, where you could subscribe and play certain games. It's so crazy to me. Like, I'm not super excited about a lot of these games, but I'm excited about a lot of the games. And I'm excited because for nothing I can try them out. For nothing I can have as long as a demo as I want. Mm-hmm. For nothing except for my subscription service, which I pay for other games that I do like playing. Like, I'm paying this anyways. So for the games that I love to play and I'm playing and paying for them, I now get to experience so many more that I never would have. I never would have bought a lot of these games. Right. Never. I'm just not someone who branches out.
Maybe Shredders.
I'm sure Shredders I would have. But there's a lot of people I feel like there's a lot of people like me. They have their games that they like and they play them. Not everyone's playing everything. So I'm really excited and looking forward to this new era in gaming where us gamers who kind of have a lane that we stick to are not just saddled with, I have to go buy that game just to try it, or I have to download the demo of this game and I get 10 minutes of playtime, or I get an hour of playtime, whatever it is. Sometimes they're generous and sometimes, but now, like, in this new generation of gaming, we have the ability to play full games, to download hundreds of different titles, hundreds of different kinds of games, and get to experience them. And I'm super excited. I'm most anticipated for what gaming looks like as we continue forward. I really want, I just come off sounding like a Microsoft Xbox shill. I really want people to experience it. Like, if you are a Sony person, if you are on PlayStation or Nintendo only, try out Game Pass. Like, borrow an Xbox from a friend. I'm sure you know someone that has one. Everybody has an Xbox. And check out what they have to offer. Like, it's so crazy to me that in this day and age we're at a place where I can be so picky with the games that I play, and I can still play literally hundreds of different kinds of games, different titles of games, and I'm not even stuck with the old games. Like, we're getting day one launch on Game Pass for 27 out of the 30 games announced.
Right.
And today's thing from Microsoft's thing, like, that blows my mind. Like, I can't, maybe, like, depending on our audience, but like, people listening, like, I want you to just be, like, so impressed by that. The fact that this exists, like, this is so huge. And, like, I will get the opportunity to play a dozen plus games that I never would have tried if not for the ability to just download it. All I have to do is download it. Like, it costs me nothing extra. I'm just going to download it. I'm going to try it. If I like it, I'll keep it and play it some more. And if I don't like it, I'm just going to uninstall it. Right. I'm going to free up my hard drive for something else. Like,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Like, I can't express enough, like, how big of a deal that is. And, like, it's so weird and foreign and crazy to me. Who's, I'm someone who's always had to buy a game. I've always bought the game, and if I spent $60 on a game and I didn't like it, I was out $60. Like I could turn it into GameStop for $20 the very next day, but that's the best I was getting back from that game. So I'm excited for that. Shredders looks BA. Any other honorable mentions you guys looking forward to?
You know what? Well, not something I'm looking forward to, but something that Mike mentioned before, which is that how sparse the Ubisoft palette was in terms of, or roster was in terms of games that we had heard about but didn't get to see in the Ubisoft showcase. And those are Skull and Bones, which. My first E3, I played what seemed like, at least that part that I played was finished. A couple of game modes of Skull and Bones behind closed doors. So, like,
Skull and Bones is gonna be Patriots, man. It's gonna. I don't think that's coming out.
But that's the thing, right? So, like, we didn't see that. We haven't seen any of the other things that are coming out of the Tom Clancy suite of games. They talked about Ghost Recon making 20 years. So my thing is, I was disappointed that at E3 we didn't get to see some of the big games that we thought that we knew we'd see from Ubisoft. But I'm assuming that means that we'll see those games at some point later in the year, which is kind of exactly what I was saying before. Like this E3 thing can be year round now. Like everybody can do these types of broadcasts, these types of presentations, ad infinitum.
Yeah,
I like it. Well, any other final thoughts on E3?
I think it's really cool. Another game that I was really anticipating, but now I get to play, is Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yes.
Really stoked for that. Try that out. Right into Game Pass. So, yeah.
Can someone explain that game? I was watching, so I have no knowledge, like prior knowledge of this game, and I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, I've got a chicken like pooping eggs at people. I've got a dude like smashing someone in the face with a cake.
Yep.
All this. What is that game? Like,
you described
it. Is it a fighting game?
Well,
is it?
So, Sean, can you describe
I'm so confused.
Right. It's an open world narrative game where everything is absurd in like the most Japanese way possible.
Well, they
right?
went quirky with this one. Like the
Right.
Yakuza series itself, it is
pretty wacky in general.
Is it?
Yes, yeah, they get up to some wild stuff. The only difference is that they've added like this is the Dragon Quest one, right? Not Dragon Quest.
Yeah, like
not
the Dragon
Quest.
Quest.
One.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, and the different like Yakuza is wacky like in that way, but then also there's some like fantasy stuff coming from the crossover. But
it was so weird. Mm-hmm. It was like watching gameplay footage of Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Oh yeah, great movie.
That's what it reminded me of. I'm debatable on great. It was a movie, and I watched it. To take a Cicero line. But I was like, what is this game? Because I remember you talking about it beforehand. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, Yakuza, I'm gonna watch. Like, I actually sat down and paid attention and like watching them. And as I'm watching, I'm like, he was excited for like this is weird. This is really weird. Yeah. He sounded like really excited for this game, but it's just weird. I mean, it's free, so I guess we try it, but man, is it. I was not having the same thoughts. I'll put it that way.
Sounds good.
All right. Last chance, final thoughts before we move on to the leaderboard, or are you guys ready to jump right in? taking silence as a jump right in. Leaderboard top 6 E3 moments / announcements so far. All right, you know how we do this. You each get 3 from the 12 that we'll have. I'll pick a top 6. Cicero, you're up first. Top 3 moments / announcements from E3 so far. So far is key because you're gonna have another one later this week.
Yep.
That's so this year's E3.
Yes.
This year's E3.
Oh, okay.
I will top 6 E3 2021 moments and announcements. I didn't feel I had to add that, but I will. Sean's got his hand up. I do know how this works. Sean, I'm calling on you.
Yeah. What if you experienced a previous E3 as part of your current E3 consumption?
Oh,
would that count?
Look at that. Tenant.
No.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
It was hypothetical.
Oh, the judge
totally
did not
hypothetical.
allow this.
I definitely, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm confused as to what you
If
mean.
you're watching 2020's E3 and they brought it up again in 2021 because it's not out yet, that's fine. But if it's something that came out 2020 or 2019 or prior,
Like 1995 would be out of the question.
you could bring it up, but we're not going to put it on the list. 95 is funny. That was a long time ago.
You were 4 years old. what do you remember?
Oh, this wasn't remembering. It was. I literally watched part of. I watched a thing about it because another conference was going real slow.
Fair enough. All right. So yeah, we're gonna keep it to 2021 unless it's relevant because they didn't come out with the.
I'm glad Sean asked the question.
Yes, Cicero, your top 3 2021 E3 moments or announcements so far. What are they?
Sea of Thieves with the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
The details on Forza Horizon 4 or 5.
5.
With the fact that they're in Mexico, but they're like, hey, we've got Mexican art in here. We've like really painstakingly took a look at Mexico and included it in the game. And the third will be what I'll call Xbox Anywhere.
Xbox Anywhere. That's pretty blanket. I feel like that's cheating, but I'll put it in there.
Well, it's the initiative to allow you to play your Xbox games anywhere you are.
I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. I feel like it's so easy of a, that's going to make it. That's why it's cheating.
Captain Giant Squid.
I'm not going to switch up the order yet. So, Sean, what you got?
Yeah, I'm going to start with
the tail. All right, sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm going to start with the Death Stranding trolling.
Yes,
I'm still Splatoon 2 for some reason. That had nothing to do with here, but that was in my brain for no reason.
What was your first one? Because my brain didn't.
The Death Stranding trolling.
Yes. Yeah.
The Metal Gear Death Stranding Kojima thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
the Outer Worlds.
Yeah, that's
the Outer Worlds 2 one was really good as well.
Oh, that was a great trailer.
Yeah. Speaking of trolling,
I'll say the very soon date on Psychonauts 2. I honestly can't believe it's actually coming out ever.
August 22nd, dude.
Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts. Oh, that was another one that I was like, yo, this game is weird.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you thought
Play
it
the
was...
original. It's on Game Pass. Maybe playing.
I'll probably just play the second one. I'll just jump in halfway through the story.
And I don't really have a third one, so I'm going to say the moment everyone realizes that the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 remakes that were shown at the Square Enix presentation today, when everyone realizes that's just going to be a phone port again, that's going to be a great moment.
That would be a sad moment.
Yeah.
I have seen those moments on Twitter today, and That's hilarious. Coming to Steam and mobile. What? You realize that you just press a button and make it for PlayStation and Xbox, right?
Oh, no, that's not the problem. The problem is that they ported those things to computer before, but they didn't port the original games. They ported the mobile game.
Yeah.
They ported the mobile version before. And they didn't show, any pictures. I don't think you can find pictures of, the things they said today. Any details on, Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Pixel, perfect, whatever. But as soon as they said mobile and Steam, I was like, no, that's another phone port stitch. It's gonna be great.
I'm calling that a troll as well. I called it the Square Enix mobile Final Fantasy troll. Because that's just mean.
Yep.
Mike, top 3. Ready to go.
Yeah. I think I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a really good one. I think the industry people had an inkling that this was coming, and there were rumors that Guardians of the Galaxy was being worked on, but it's just cool to have that announced and also to be coming this year. That's crazy. So
we'll see if it sticks.
Yeah. I think another top moment for me was actually that they boldly chose to start with Starfield today, and to have Todd Howard on the stage right off the bat. I think that was a bold move, and I think it was one of the we all knew that Starfield was going to be exclusive, right? That was you don't spend $7 billion to not make a game exclusive, but that moment when they're just yeah, it's exclusive, coming from Phil Spencer's and Todd Howard's mouth, that was a great moment to me. So yeah, I think that was a good moment. Oh god, I have to do it. Hades coming to Xbox Game Pass. I just have to do it, man. That's probably my most anticipated game. I know it's already been out, but the fact that it's coming straight into Game Pass, and what's cool is PlayStation gamers are getting it too. So it's not just coming to Xbox only, but it is coming to Game Pass. So a lot of people who didn't have a Switch and don't have a computer to play that game can now experience it if they have a PlayStation or Xbox. So
yeah, all right, I like that. I also, I heard a lot about Hades back when released, and a lot of people were playing it. A lot of friends were playing it on PC, and I didn't even know what it was till today. And I was like, "Yo, this is kind of cool." And then I was like, "Yo, this is a Sean game." And then I was like, "Oh, Sean's played this game," because he's mentioned it several times. Damn. Which was, good. But now we get to experience it, which is really cool. Shucks, top three. Shredders, obviously. Come on now.
More of a Riders Republic camp out of those two.
Riders Republic looks fun. I think that was my favorite game from the Ubisoft thing.
But it just looks like Ride, right? Wasn't that the Ubisoft?
That's probably
game?
true. I probably won't even. I haven't played Ride. I probably won't play that either. But
I mean, it looks like Steep.
Steep. Yeah, that's yeah. There you go.
I do like the mountain bike angle. I think that was what intrigued me the most about. That's another thing. That game in particular would be perfect on Game Pass. It's like the Knockout City. It's some of those other things. I don't see that game doing better than Steep, right? But if it were to go to Game Pass day one, or something like that, I think
people would play it.
Yeah,
which it could. It could be on there.
I think it might end up being there, but I don't think it will.
So yeah, a thing that I was hoping that we would have heard this week that we haven't heard is that Ubisoft Plus was coming to Xbox, not necessarily coming to Game Pass, but coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
And, so if they were doing that, then there's an option for you to get that game and have it be in a Game Pass like subscription service.
Yeah.
It would just be owned by Ubisoft.
Okay, like EA Play stuff.
Yeah, but unlike EA Play, the Ubisoft Plus gives you access to all of their games.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you pay it's $15 just like Game Pass, but you have access to all of their games. And in fact, so now Stadia has been my preferred place to play Ubisoft games because I can play them without installing them, without downloading them and installing them.
well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right. I did like one of the Ubisoft things. It's going to be on here for me. Going to Pandora. Granted, it's not. It could change. It could be like that awesome Iron Man game that never got good. But hey, I liked the movie. I thought the visuals were amazing. I'm hoping that the gameplay will share some of that. And based off the announcement, because that's what it was, I'm putting in there. What was it called?
Avatar.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. That's what it was. So Avatar's making it on the list for me. Let's hope they don't spend as much money on the game as they
I
did
have
the movie.
no interest, like none, whatsoever.
This is my biggest E3 surprise is that somebody cares about this, and I'm very happy for you, Jelly.
Don't like Avatar?
No, it's like just a nothing space as like that's just what it is in the culture, and I've been waiting to find anybody that like still cares about Avatar, and it's you, and I found you. It's beautiful.
I like it. I liked the movie. It wasn't amazing or great. It's not the best thing I've seen, but I really enjoy the stories like that. I'm a big sci-fi fantasy nerd. They gave me a world. They gave me a species. They gave me a bunch of other stuff. Like, they delivered in the movie, and the only thing that really fell short in the movie is the story, and that was good enough. So if they can do as good a job,
It's Pocahontas.
it's the worst. It's a worse version of that. I think Pocahontas did better. But hey, the game looks good. I like the idea of being able to fly on a dragon. So, shucks. Sue me.
That's
I'm
fair.
a nerd.
That's fair.
The last one. I think I'm going to give the last one to Redfall. Because that's another game that I don't think that, it's not a jelly game, but I think I'll play it anyways. Because I do love vampires, I'm not even going to lie. Like, I'm not a big scary fan, but vampires, right in my wheelhouse. I started reading those like way too young an age. So I'm about it.
Man,
I was reading Bram Stoker.
didn't know we
in middle
also
school.
had a Twilight fan.
I'm a big fan of the books, so suck it. The movies are terrible. All right, so we've got it. We've got top 12. We need a top 6. We each need to pick one, but all the choices are Sea of Thieves, Jack Sparrow edition, the Forza, and I put percentage sign instead of 5. Go me. The Forza 5 and the awesome details and respect to Mexico. The Xbox Anywhere, as Cicero has coined it. Then for Sean, we had Death Stranding, The Trolling. We had Psychonauts 2 coming this year in a couple months. And then we have the
Squeenix, yeah, Squeenix is it. It's Squeenix.
Squeenix.
Yeah, just roll with it. Squeenix.
Yeah.
We had the Squeenix mobile Final Fantasy 1-6 troll doing it Square Enix. Gosh, I hate that I said that.
I love that
from
you said
Mike-
that. I love that you said that.
From Mike,
That is
we've
way
got
better
Guardians of
than
the
your
Galaxy.
Microsoft thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was terrible. Bethessoft. Guardians of the Galaxy. We've got Starfield kicking off Microsoft Bethesda's event today. And then we've got Hades coming to console finally. And then from me, we've got Shredder's Avatar, which is Sean's biggest surprise of E3 and Redfall. So we need must-haves on there. Cicero, what is your must-have?
Xbox Anywhere.
Of course, I knew it would be there. See, Xbox, it had to be. It's too good.
Right.
All right, Sean, what is your must-have from your list, or anyone's list? Really, that'd be unfair, but let's do it anyways.
Redfall. Redfall. It's yours. It's mine.
I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that?
He stole your must-have.
He did. Mike, what is your must-have?
My must-have is Hades.
I'm not shocked by that, nor are the listeners. Listeners, thanks for still being here. We love you and appreciate you. Thanks for listening to me.
Jelly, what's your must-have? Maybe from Sean's list.
I want to throw Avatar out there so bad just to spite everybody listening. But no, my must-have is Shredders. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna play it. I will not uninstall it. Like that will be a game that lives on my Xbox until this
I
thing
will
dies.
play it with you. I promise, because I've looked awesome. Looked fun.
All right, now the round robin begins. We've got 2 places and too many games. So let's narrow it down, gentlemen. We have Sea of Thieves. We've got Forza 5. We've got Guardians. We've got Starfield kicking it off. We've got a game that won't make it. We've got the 2 Trolls and Psychonauts 2. What needs to be here? Throw out some ideas. Let's get the ball rolling. I'm kind of down with Forza. Throwing it out there right now.
All right.
Yeah.
You okay with Forza, Sean?
Yeah.
All right, man, it looked amazing. I think I'm gonna try to catch the 4K trailer tomorrow. Just check it out.
There you go.
So
it looked good, and the fact that they were like, "Yo, they went deep with all the Mexico knowledge, with having artists from Mexico featured with the cool Mexican art, like,
yeah,
and
really
then the
cool.
voice actor and like all of it. They did such a good job. Like, I love that they did that. That's so cool. And you know, it's nothing new. I did it again. For the listeners out there, on our list, I keep putting percentage signs instead of the freaking number 5. Go me. But Forza always looks beautiful. It's always a beautiful game. The fact that they were just able to, you know, pay so much respect and homage to Mexico where it's taking place, this game is just really cool. All right, we've got 1 spot left. What needs to be up there? I'm keeping my mouth shut for this one until I can't anymore, which will last like 3 seconds. Ready, go.
My heart wants to say Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was going Psychonauts 2 or the Death Stranding trolling.
Yeah, I'm with either of those.
All right, Sean, your deciding pick.
I got
yours.
Yeah, I gotta mess up this list and say it's the trolling one.
Oh,
All
let's
right.
do it. I'm
I
with
love
it.
it.
It was such a good moment. So I'm cool with it.
I would totally put Miyazaki, but I don't know how to spell names.
I mean, it's Kojima, but okay.
Is it Kojima? I thought it was...
No, Miyazaki's the
Miyazaki. Yeah.
Miyazaki?
Oh, that was Alden.
Miyazaki.
Is it?
No, it's Kojima.
It's Kojima for this one. The other one was Elden Ring.
Oh, man.
All right, we've got a top 6, listeners. Thanks for suffering through it with me. We've got the throwaway answer, of course, Xbox Anywhere. We knew it was going to be on there because, come on, how could it not be? We've got Sean jumping in and taking one of mine, Redfall. The idea is great. Hopefully it comes to fruition and turns out to be as great as the trailer looked. And, you know, the ideas that we all have about it now. Have about it? Whoa, words are hard. We've got Mike's choice, Hades, coming to console finally. I know Mike's stoked for this.
It's on
Hopefully some of you guys
Nintendo
are stoked
Switch,
as
by
well.
the way. So it was already on console. Now it's coming to
Is that a
console
console?
consoles.
That's like a handheld. That's barely a console. That's a dockable handheld. I could say, yo, come on.
No, we're not doing
mine right
this.
here.
All right, we have Shredders.
It's right here.
We have Forza 5. And we have Death Stranding, Kojima Troll.
I can't just pick up my Xbox and do that. It's plugged in other places. We got, Shredders. It's going to be dope. We've got Forza 5 and all the beautiful details and all of the respect they were able to pay. And then we've got the Troll. The massive, wonderful Troll, Death Stranding, Kojima. not whoever the other person was, which is Elder Ring. Anyways, that was it. This is our E3 special, our first ever, but our first annual. So, looking forward to seeing you guys back here next year. Obviously, we're going to have the same group of people because how could we do it any different? Maybe we'll add more. Shoot. Just saying. Stay tuned.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, listeners, we love you. Thanks for sticking it out with us, having fun with us, laughing with us. If you want to catch these guys, their links will be below. You can always catch them here when we have them on. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a wonderful time.
That's exactly what I meant. Bye, everybody.
Say hello to your mother for me.
Yeah.
Captain Jack, giant squid.
I love Tortuga.